Corals have these very cool sexual reproductive spawning events. And in these spawning events, all the polyps in a region simultaneously release their eggs and sperm into the water column to distribute their offspring over as broad a geographic area as possible. We call it broadcast spawning. And in these synchronized events, the moments after the eggs and sperm release, we're talking millions of eggs and sperm here, for several minutes after, if you're in the water when that happens, if you're in the middle of all that, it's like being inside a snow globe. It's insane and beautiful. And after the release, the eggs and sperm just float out there until, if they're lucky, they join together and create a fertilized egg, which will form a larva, or planula. And the planulae swim upward toward the light, exhibiting positive phototaxis, entering the surface waters, transported by the current. Most planulae, the vast majority, don't make it. The broadcast spawning events have to produce so many because only a few will actually survive to become coral. But the ones that do, eventually they swim back down to the bottom where they metamorphose into polyps, which look like tiny upside-down jellyfish, and ultimately form colonies, which grow and grow and grow. And eventually maybe you do get something like the Great Barrier Reef, a monument to the collective will of these millions and millions of individual eggs and sperm becoming planulae, becoming polyps, becoming corals, becoming coral reef systems. You think about all the crazy ways life has evolved, and the one obvious consistent throughout, the one biological imperative, is reproduce. That's it. Reproduce. Any species, no matter what. It's not about, are you happy? It's not about, are you being a good coral or a bad coral? Are you fucking with other corals or being generous with your coral community? It's not about any of the things about being alive. It's only just, are you making more of yourself? Are you making more? Is your colony growing? Will you, the greater you, the you that is your species, will you survive? Will multiple generations of you survive? Some people point at that drive to survive as a species and say, oh, that's beautiful. The will to survive and maybe leave something behind, to maybe leave a legacy. I don't think of it as beautiful. It feels sort of sick to me, that blind will to reproduce at any cost with no ethics involved or morality or the possibility of other priorities, other ways of finding and constructing meaning and value, just reproduce. But when it comes to us, we work so hard at surviving, at leaving something behind. And why? What are we leaving behind?